Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be digging into the Puddin's POP Picks page, specifically for May 7th, 2025.
Yeah, the goal is really to understand how they're coming up with these daily sports betting picks.
Exactly. We've got their PDF, the Daily Picks May 7, 2025 one, and we're focusing on that summary page.
Right. Let's try to unpack the thinking behind today's baseball recommendations.
Okay, let's jump in. First off, they give us the season performance, which is helpful context.
What are the numbers looking like?
So, strong plays, they're 7-3. Good plays are sitting at 6-3.
Okay, so overall, what's that? 13 wins, 6 losses.
Yeah, 13-6. And they also note a bankroll change of plus 2.4%.
So, positive results so far.
Sure.
It suggests there's some method working, not just random picks.
Definitely gives it some weight. All right, so their strong play today, that's the Seattle Mariners money line.
At negative 152 odds against the Athletics. And they've pegged it at a 62% probability.
And just quickly, money line, that's just betting on who wins the game outright.
Exactly. Straight up win or lose.
Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. The why. It looks like it really hinges on the pitching matchup.
Yeah, talk us through that.
They've got Bryan Woo for Seattle. His ERA is really good, 2.58. And his walk rate, tiny, just 2.6%.
Wow. Okay, so he's not giving away free passes. Who's he up against?
Gunnar Hoglund for the A's. And the stats are, well, kind of the opposite. A 0% strikeout rate listed.
0%. That seems low.
It does. And a really high hard hit rate allowed 46.7%. They do add a note, small sample size.
Okay, but still that contrast is pretty stark. Woo, limiting base runners, Hoglund getting hit hard, apparently.
That seems to be the core logic. Woo's control versus Hoglund potentially giving up solid contact.
And that hard hit rate, it's often seen as a predictor, even if they aren't like home runs yet.
Yeah.
Allowing that kind of contact can lead to trouble.
Right. And Puddin's POP seems to think the Mariners offense can take advantage. They call out Mitch Garver, 0.50, 0.3% hard hit rate, and Cal Raleigh, 46.2%. So powerful hitters.
So you line up hitters who make hard contact against a pitcher who allows hard contact. Makes sense.
Exactly. So looking at the Never Goes 152 odds, that implies roughly a 60% chance of winning.
And they're calculating 62%. So they see a small edge, hence the strong play tag, and decent value.
Okay, that tracks. Now what about the good play?
That's the Toronto Blue Jays money line. Neg is 120 against the Angels. Probability listed at 57%.
All right, what's the angle here? Pitching again?
It seems like it, yeah, but with maybe a bit more history mixed in. Yep. Jose Barrios for the Jays, he's got a 3.98 ERA.
Okay, solid.
He's facing Yusei Kikuchi for the Angels. Kikuchi's ERA is a bit higher, 4.21, but here's the interesting part.
What's that?
They highlight Kikuchi's hard hit rate, specifically against the Blue Jays. It's 42.2%.
So not just his overall stats, but how he performs against this specific team. That's a nice layer.
Exactly. That head-to-head context seems important for this pick. And like the Mariners game, they look at the hitters.
Let me guess. Good hard hit rates.
You got it. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at 52.9%, Alejandro Kirk at 50.6%, both hitting over 50%.
And they also mentioned Toronto's lineup does well against lefties, which Kikuchi is.
Right. So putting it together, Barrios is solid. Kikuchi struggles a bit against Toronto hitters who hit hard and match up well against lefties.
So at a negative 120 odds, the implied probability is what, around 54.5%?
Yeah, about that. So their 57% calculation, again, suggests value, calling it a good play. Maybe slightly less certain than the Mariners game, but still favorable.
Okay, I see a pattern emerging. It's really about these pitching matchups, isn't it?
Definitely. And specifically, how hitter stats, like that hard hit rate, match up against the pitcher's tendencies.
Plus that historical element, like with Kikuchi versus Toronto when it's available.
Precisely. It looks like their methodology is about combining current pitcher form, specific hitter strengths, especially that hard hit data, and sometimes past performance to find these edges.
So for you listening, the takeaway is that Puddin's POP seems to be using a pretty data-driven approach.
Yeah, it's not just gut feelings. They're looking at earned run averages, walk rates, but really focusing on that hard hit percentage as a key indicator.
Identifying those mismatches where a pitcher might be vulnerable to certain types of hitters.
And trying to see if the betting odds accurately reflect that vulnerability based on their calculations.
So, final thought to leave you with. We saw how focusing on a stat like hard hit rate offers maybe a deeper view than just wins or losses.
Right. It makes you think, what other maybe less obvious stats in sports could give you that kind of predictive insight, something beyond the surface numbers?
Definitely something to chew on.